Hey everyone, welcome to Saturday Night Popcorn. This is Jason.
And this is Kai, and we have another great discussion for you today. The movie of the day is Cape Fear. It's a year older than me. It makes me feel like an old person, even though I'm not very old. But still want to give everyone a spoiler warning.
And me, I'm a year older than the movie, so. But yeah, Cape Fear from 1991, and Martin Scorsese is the director. The first thing I'll make a comment about is this is, I don't know, no matter what, I think everyone assumes and sees Martin Scorsese as like the gangster flick and everything, and like Robert De Niro also, but this is like a different movie. It felt like completely different.
This has to be one of his shortest movies. It seems like every Martin Scorsese film I've seen has been like 3 hours plus.
Right.
This was only like 2 hours.
This one's 128 minutes that Letterboxd has it, and which is nothing to scoff at either. But yeah, his movies are typically like pretty damn long. But immediately, what did you take away from this movie?
I thought it was hilarious. So the opening scene, or somewhat opening scene, where Max, Robert De Niro's character, leaves prison. There's a shot where he's walking out of prison and then he gets like super close to the camera. And I thought that was hilarious because they were like, hey, let's film this shot. Okay, Robert, walk to the camera and run into the camera.
It definitely looks like he like ran into the camera too.
Yeah. And I was like, this is hilarious. Like, they paid this man to do this.
And they paid a camera guy to be like, all right, well, just stay there until he runs into it.
So that stood out to me. Also, there's a scene in the movie theater. So when they're in the movie theater watching the movie and Max is smoking his cigar, I actually have it in my notes. Eddie Murphy, or whoever did the cinematography for the Nutty Professor, they stole that. They used that in that movie.
Oh, like sort of that same scene,
same scenario.
Interesting.
So it's Eddie Murphy when he's with, I believe, Janet Jackson. So it should be the Nutty Professor to the Clumps, and Eddie's like alter ego Buddy Love is sitting like a few rows in front, and he's just cackling crazy.
That's true.
And, Sherman Clump like tells him, hey, can you quiet down? And he gets up. He's like, just when you thought it was safe to go back to the movie theater. And then the horror music kicks on. So I thought that was kind of cool. That's where they got it from.
Let me ask you this. Do you know what movie they were watching? It has John Ritter.
Oh, yeah, Problem Child.
Problem Child? I've never seen that movie.
Yeah. You've never... That's one of my favorites.
Yeah?
Yeah. As soon as he said, what the heck is this kid's name? I forgot the kid's name now. Oh, Junior. He said Junior because I saw him go into the room and he starts throwing shit. And then he says Junior, and I was like, oh, it is the Problem Child. Junior was chaotic. He threw a party in the house, I think. And I think that was the scene after he threw a party in the house.
Now I gotta watch that movie because I was like, I love John Ritter, and it's funny, I watched that like Eight Simple Rules and everything. Sadly, he died and everything, but yeah, like John Ritter was it was like, man, I've never seen that movie. Now I want to watch something that has him. But
Problem Child is a classic too.
Well, that's
Problem Child 2 is my favorite out of the two, but
it's gonna go on my my watch list on Letterboxd.
What was something that stood out to you?
It may be a negative. It's just like the awkwardness of Robert De Niro's character. It's just like it's not cringeworthy, but like it makes you feel uncomfortable. And I think that was the whole point of everything. It's funny that my girlfriend next to me, she loves Robert De Niro, loves Martin Scorsese. But after seeing that scene where he's like pretending to be like the theater teacher, and like he's like sticking his like thumb in her mouth, so So it prompted us to like look up like how old was I forget what her name is, but the actress that played the daughter. Yeah. So the movie came out when she was like 18. So like when they're filming the scene, most likely she was 17. So it got really awkward and stuff. And supposedly Patty looked up that like supposedly that scene was like unscripted. So like Robert De Niro is doing that without most people knowing. And
Unwarranted.
that's hearsay and all that stuff. I don't know. I didn't confirm it myself, but just the whole thing just made you weirded out. And towards the end, and here's like the end of the story where it's like they're in that riverboat and like it's coming to the climax of the story, and it's like the story of everything is kind of like hard to take in, and it's like Robert De Niro's character, and Robert De Niro, I don't know if you kind of praise his acting of like he made you feel awkward throughout the whole movie.
He did. Yeah. That accent got me, man. That accent was terrible.
Yeah, what kind of wait, they're in the South, right? Because like I remember like that festival scene. I was like those are Confederate flags.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, they're like waving around the American flag, and then you see like random Confederate flags. I'm like, and most likely that confirms they're in the South.
Well, he said he had been convicted in Atlanta. I thought that's where he was with Nick Nolte.
Nick Nolte
was his lawyer, and I thought in Atlanta.
Okay. So yeah, wherever they are, I don't know where if Cape Fear is a real place in real life and stuff, but Nick Nolte was a good character. I think he played his voice kind of like is recognizable, I think, throughout all of his characters that he's played. But he plays a good character that like gets just freaked out by the person that is trying to freak him out and everything, and it eventually gets too far. It goes too far. But I was, I guess, in talking about the daughter. What was her name again? The one that plays the daughter?
Her name was Danielle in the movie, but Juliette Lewis.
Yeah, she plays her pretty well. Where it's like there's that dynamic where it's like she's playing like the person that like somehow falls for this character and stuff, and then kind of gets angered at the dad and everything, trying to be protective of like you shouldn't be talking to this like older person. But then towards the end, she kind of like plays him by like playing to his weakness, but then kind of sprays him down with the lights him. Yeah, just lights him and like knows that most likely he was gonna be like smoking up something and everything because he's like smoking a giant cigar throughout the whole movie.
He was a superhero though. Like he got beat up by multiple guys and just survived.
Yeah,
with just some scratches.
I know when that scene came up, I was like, why is fucking Nick Nolte's character there to watch it? And it's always gonna go bad if you're there. Like, oh, I'm gonna like see proof of what I paid for and stuff. Like, no, someone's gonna see you.
Exactly. And then he kicks a can. It's like, bro,
yeah. And then like almost immediately you can kind of like know that like, oh, he's gonna be the superhero that like gets beat up for a little bit and then like comes back out of nowhere because he's the crazy fucker that doesn't know when to quit. He has nothing to lose basically. What does he have to lose? They found out they had $30,000. Like that's a lot of money, but still like
yeah, that was unnecessary too. Like what? Why do we need to know he has 30 grand?
But
go ahead. How in the hell? So he gets out of prison, whatever, and then he just has a Mustang waiting for him, a beautiful Mustang waiting for him.
Right?
How?
Everything, and he traveled. How the hell do you know that he was there too? Because like we're thinking this is the 90s. I'm assuming the movie came out when the movie is like based. There was no internet back then. No one used the internet at all. And how the hell did you find out that he was there? Like, I'm assuming it was probably like you just, I don't know. But yeah, it was pretty amazing that he like shows up in a nice Mustang.
He knows exactly where he
knows
lives.
exactly where he lives and all this stuff. And I guess that's the whole crux of the story, is that he's very good at being the the stalker type and
Yeah.
whatever he does.
And how did he hold on to the bottom of their truck for so long?
Right. Well, he was like strapped into it, right? He used like a belt to like make sure that he stays on it.
Yeah, but
But
still, that was probably a long
right.
ride. He just got out like, okay, cool. Now we're in a new place.
Hey, Patty, when they show him under the truck for the first time, and there's this guy kind of like putting like something in the back of his car, and they drive away and stuff.
Oh, and sees
Oh
the
yeah,
person.
Patty was like, that dude definitely saw that person, and was like, well,
didn't wave
we're not
him
gonna
down.
fuck around with anybody. That's their business.
We'll let them figure
Yeah.
that out. We're good. We'll stay safe over here. Yeah, that got me because I saw that guy just looking and sees Max under the car and just doesn't say or do anything. It's like, okay.
Right. I think the main thing that I liked about this movie is other than like going past the awkwardness of like the subject matter. I think the subject matter is kind of like hard to take in, but and how creepily I kind of attribute it. I don't know if you've seen the movie The Black Phone.
No, I still haven't watched that.
Yeah, I've seen that movie, and he plays again like a child killer, a child like predator and stuff, and it just makes you feel weird. And I'm assuming that is what their goal was, to have Robert De Niro and in that Black Phone movie, to have the character make you feel weird, and awkward and uncomfortable and stuff. But in terms of the story, it was actually a pretty good story. Like it's pretty straightforward, but it has its like ebbs and flows where he's like at first, like the character of Nick Nolte kind of like progressively gets worse and worse in terms of like how he looks too. Like he looks emotionally drained. Like towards the end of it, he looks like he's gone through hell. But then also he's like, you can tell his morals start to like fade away until he gets to the very end. But then it almost kind of like through an act of God, the Rock misses the main character, or like the bad guy and stuff, and he's not the one that kind of like settles to like kill him. And so even though that was like the one thing he kind of thought that was like gonna end the whole thing. So that was enjoyable.
I was ready for that Rock to bash him in the face, honestly. And then they cut to it not hitting him. I was like, oh.
Yeah. Well, you get to see him sink to the bottom.
The subject matter was a lot to take in. I enjoyed the way the movie looked. I enjoyed, like, it was a long movie, but it didn't feel long.
No.
It seemed like they sequenced it in a way where there's always something going on. A lot of it was Max killing people just to kill people, or hurting people just to hurt people, but something was always going on. So I actually enjoyed that. Even though the subject matter was creepy.
Yeah, I think it's like more of like everything we kind of see nowadays from the past. You kind of see things in, even though like probably back then people should have said like, this is not normal. Like this is still creepy. But we're still seeing it in like a more modern lens. Like what, this is like 33 years ago or 32 years ago, which is like a long time away, thinking about it, but kind of shows us how old we are. But
the 1900s,
right. but honestly too, it's like what I was like amazed by is like the transitions. Like there was that early sex scene where like you almost kind of like didn't know, like the wife was like, what was going on? Like why the hell was she like putting on makeup or like putting on the lipstick, and then afterwards kind of being like, you had no clue whether or not she was like in a trance or something. Like it faded with like a big old yellow screen because it like I guess he was trying to integrate like the fireworks into the scene, like the flashes of light and everything. But also Scorsese, or the film itself, did those like over the shoulder kind of like dual shots pretty well. So I liked how they got like really close. They kind of muffed it in the beginning where he like ran into the camera, but they got really close to like everyone's faces, and it showed kind of like the terror in everybody's in when they did that. And so it was kind of like that was a good way to kind of like put the terror into your face, because like you're now having to like see this character's face going through everything and stuff. And so I think that's a testament to like the acting of all of them too.
Yeah, because you were living it with them. Like, as all of this horror is occurring, you're there in the front seat like, oh, damn.
Right? Yeah. What would you take as a negative? Other than that subject matter, we can kind of get past that, or like not get past that, but kind of like that's is going to be awkward for I hopefully everybody feels awkward with that subject matter. But other than that, what else would you see as a negative?
I really think the things I have on here on my notes are Max's accent, which I've talked about before. Danielle, like, I know she's a young girl, but some of the stuff she did, I was just like, dude, what are you doing?
Well,
like, when her and her mother, so it's them on the boat, Max is on the boat with them, and he's speaking to the mother and Danielle, and Danielle's like, oh, I memorized. Oh, Max asked, oh, where's the book? Where's a sexton or whatever? Mm-hmm. She's like, oh, I memorized a portion of it for you. That was really, really creepy.
Yeah, but that's where I was like.
But she did play him. So
yeah, she was playing him. But what I was really shocked. I was like, dude, is she really gonna like, kind of like?
I thought she was.
I thought she was gonna side with them and everything, and be like, let's like go off on the lam together and stuff. But that was the choices, like in terms of like, I guess like who the hell puts a theater like in the basement and everything of a school and thinks like you're the only one going down there, so like, oh yeah, like I must have like a one person classroom and everything.
Special. Yeah, she thought she was special. And they got a finger in her face.
Yeah, but she is supposed to be like 17 or like what? She's 16, 15 in the movie.
16, 17.
Yeah, something like that and stuff. So yeah,
old enough to know better.
But also young enough to be dumb still and everything like that. That's the whole point of everything.
You just gotta shrug your shoulders. Like in my notes, I have 3 dislikes. It's the accent, it's Danielle, and then I put an emoji rolling its eyes next to her name, and then the X-ray vision view that they did.
Yeah, I was confused by that because I thought like somehow like Robert De Niro's character had like cool goggles that he looked through or something.
Yeah, because it would come out of nowhere. You're just like, all right, what the hell is going on? I was super confused. That
is true. That was a little out there. It seemed like Scorsese or whoever, like the cinematographer, was like, let's try this. Well, I just saw I saw an X-ray for the first time in my life, and I want to put it in everything.
I saw a war movie, and they had X-ray vision. Let's try it in this one,
right?
Let's see if it works. Like, what were your dislikes?
I don't know. I'm like thinking about it right now, and I'm like you said, like I guess like the length of the movie. I don't know. For me, even though I said the story was the evolution of Nick Nolte's kind of character arc was interesting to watch, as he's like kind of plummeting down to like madness and stuff, and he just doesn't know what the hell to do in the situation. It is a basic story. Like that's the thing. It's fairly straightforward and stuff. Like, oh, like this guy's just gonna piss him off until he inevitably does something to kind of check him, and it kind of starts off at that parade with a bunch of like racist flags and stuff. It's really weird. That he pushes him, And then he plays like the victim character. Don't move my arm; it may be broken. You saw this and stuff. like the moment you see that, like, oh, it's just gonna be ramping up all past that until he pushes the button so much that, like, oh, you cross that threshold and stuff. So that's the thing that maybe that's like the thing that like you can kind of take away, or I can take away as a negative, where it's like it's a pretty straightforward movie, and it's kind of out of the norm of Scorsese. I don't know if he looks back at this movie and it's like, did he just want to try something different, or who the hell sold him on this? That like, was it just the money? Like, here you go, have a bunch of money, don't do a mafia movie, but we want Robert De Niro.
But I think that's one thing people don't really know too much about, is he has a bunch of movies that are non-mafia related.
Yeah, okay.
He has one about Jesus, and I don't know if it did very well, but yeah, the one about Jesus, he has Cape Fear, he has King of Comedy, Taxi Driver is not really mafia.
That's true.
So he has a good amount of movies that aren't mafia related, but the ones that he is well known for and that did really well in the box office are mafia related.
That is true. I guess it's like, yeah, my ignorance of like not knowing as to like what his entire filmography is, but yeah, I just wonder if he looks back at this and it's like, I like it.
Oh, for sure.
And like, yeah, I could take Taxi Driver over this. Like Taxi Driver, like I was thinking in my head, I was like, I forgot when I started the movie, like when this movie came out, and I was like, is this like before Taxi Driver? Is this how he got that weird ass role to like be a taxi driver? But it just seemed like it was an evolution of Taxi Driver, where like, how do we make the character of Taxi Driver, or the main character of Taxi Driver, who is also Robert De Niro, worse, and even more creepy and stuff, and more. Even though, like, in Taxi Driver, there was more, like, sexualization, like, there was a lot of, like, prostitution and all that stuff, and he, like, but this one just made it, like, how do we make him weirder and more awkward for the audience to watch? And,
I think the fact that because there was, like, a young girl involved, that made it even creepier.
Yeah, I think that changes a lot of things and stuff, but, yeah. I guess that's the only thing. It doesn't bode well for my rating as to like how little I can take away from this movie, or like in terms of negatives.
Yeah.
But I saw we gave it the same rating.
Oh snap!
Yeah,
okay. I really enjoyed the movie, like overall, like outside of the subject matter, just the movie in general, like it kept me entertained.
I think so. But I'm like looking back on it, like, all right, would I watch this or The Game? And I would totally watch The Game like over and over.
Yeah, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like, are these kind of the same kind of like this month we decided to like look into like thriller slash sort of slasher movies, and next weekend we're gonna be doing a true slasher movie. Thriller, I don't know. Maybe it's
a slasher.
Yeah, it's a slasher, but that's what we want to look into, and it's like, I kind of see The Game and this movie, but The Game is so much better, I think.
Yeah. The Game's not a slasher, though. The Game is more just like toying with your mind.
Like psychological. But also with this movie, it's like there is a lot of psychological where it's like, but I think he's in your face, and that's what kind of takes away from there is psychological, but like going back to your comment where we're living the situations with the family, you're living it even more in The Game with Michael Douglas's character, where like you have no clue as to what the hell's going on.
That was a roller coaster ride.
Yeah. And that was early on in this podcast. That's pretty crazy.
We didn't touch on the fact that Max, Robert De Niro, dressed up as the housekeeper and murdered somebody. Because he got me with that. Like I'm looking and I'm like, oh, that looks like the housekeeper. And then as soon as he got closer, you're like, oh, that's
Yeah, but I'm like, man, the housekeeper looks like shit right now.
She got beefy.
She was drinking all night and everything, probably. That is true.
They just murdered the man.
With a piano wire and made him shoot himself with his gun.
Oh, yeah, that was gruesome.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
But yeah, the game was still like. Wait, did we give the game a 3.5?
I
thought we gave the game a 4.
No, but I'm saying like in terms of like my rating and then what like
got it.
I'm seeing like I can justify my rating for this movie as to like how I rated the game. I think I gave the game like a 4 or 4.5. I think yeah,
because we both were like, yo, this is really good.
I know, right? Like, and this one came out 6 years later. I see you're not gonna like it. You gave it a 3.5. I gave it a 4.
I did.
Yeah.
Shut up.
All right, but let's get into it. What'd you give this movie?
So I just found out I gave it the same rating as the game. I don't even know how. I love the game.
That's the thing about these movies. It's like, yeah, we rate them now, or what are you gonna rate them like 10 years from now or something? Or as you open your catalog of different movies and stuff, or even movies in the same genre, you're gonna be like, oh yeah, that one's miles better than this one. But yeah, we both gave it a 3.5.
Yeah, we enjoyed it enough, but it's not one you're gonna run back and watch again.
Yeah, and I think that kind of goes to the next question that we typically ask ourselves. The fact that I'm probably never going to want to watch this movie ever again means I'm probably never going to buy it. I had to rent it, so I think I'm done with it.
Scorsese has too many other movies that are like classics that I would go to those or lean more towards those over this one.
Yeah, true. And if for some reason you're down the route that you're like, I have all of Scorsese's movies other than this one, then just buy it and don't watch it. Or watch it once and then be done with it.
Yeah, exactly. Call it a day.
It's like anything, like you said, like Scorsese directed a movie about Jesus Christ. It's like anything with Jesus Christ. It's like you watch it once, like The Passion of the Christ. Like I watched it once. I'm done, and then Mel Gibson's wanting to come out with the second one now.
Yeah. I don't even question things like that anymore. If Hollywood had given the money, then I guess it's getting made.
But I don't know if you answered it, but would you buy this movie?
I would. Yeah, like I said, I would watch one of Scorsese's other movies or buy one of those over this one.
Now, if it came in a box set, I guess, but Scorsese box set is probably like $1,000.
Yeah, I don't even know if Scorsese would put it in a box set. This would have to be in a box set with like the black phone.
Right. Can you imagine that? Watching a traditional double feature of watching the black phone and this thing.
Oh goodness. Then you would have to watch like the Teletubbies after, like.
Right.
Just a palate cleanser after that, like ooh.
Actually, I probably like the. You haven't seen it, but I probably like the black phone better than this thing.
Oh wow.
But
yeah, I do need to watch that.
It's creepy. It's also a little bit too much, but I guess that's kind of like where you kind of blur, or you try to blur like subject matter and art and stuff. I guess if you want to call film art, but yeah. So that's another one where it's like I would probably watch once and be done with it. It was free. It was on I think Hulu or something, so I didn't have to pay for it.
Okay, that's always good.
Yeah.
That's a reason to watch a movie. Like, oh, it's
right.
Let me press play.
But any last thoughts?
If you have some time to kill and you want to watch a creepy De Niro and Scorsese film, check out Taxi Driver.
And then you're going to keep it going. Watch this one.
Yeah,
watch Cape Fear. Well, if you want to watch everything that's in the filmography of Martin Scorsese, then go right ahead. Hey.
There you go.
All right, Kai, you want to take us out?
Yeah. Thanks for joining us for another episode of Saturday Night Popcorn. I'm Kai.
And I'm Jason, and we'll be back next week for another one.